A San Francisco retired detective suffering from acrophobia investigates the strange happenings of an old friend's wife while becoming dangerously obsessed with her in the 1958 Alfred Hitchcock masterpiece starring James Stewart and Kim Novak, Vertigo.
Vertigo, a feeling of dizziness, a swimming in the head. Figuratively, a state in which all things seem to be engulfed in a whirlpool of terror, as created by Alfred Hitchcock in the story that gives new meaning to the word suspense.
Now, most of Alfred Hitchcock's classics are well known even to contemporary audiences, whether it is North by Northwest, Psycho, The Birds, and even Vertigo. But the reason that I mentioned Vertigo is that most people don't understand or appreciate that it is in fact Vertigo that is considered to be Alfred Hitchcock's masterpiece. I say that having Psycho in mind. When the film was released in 1958, it was not well received. It was extremely underrated. It was not nominated for any major awards, not that that's important, but again, it's a reflection of how unappreciated the movie was at its time. And it was almost lost in preservation until, I don't know when it happened, but suddenly people started to notice the film and say, hey, this actually might be good. Which, like, looking at it now, it's like, it's one of the greatest movies of all time, in my opinion. So it's really remarkable how it gets so lost in translation. And I think there's still bits of that today when you compare it to other Hitchcock movies. And I truly think that this is, in fact, Hitchcock's movie that he should be remembered by. The film focuses a lot in macabre and that sort of ghostly, supernatural feeling to it, and this is wonderfully told through Hitchcock's cinematography, and it gives you almost a dreamlike quality of it. It's beautifully shot in San Francisco, and it shows a lot of history, which is important to the story, which I won't give away too much of that. Another noteworthy attribute is Hitchcock's ability to tell a visual story without any dialogue. And for example, the dream sequence that Jimmy Stewart has, I won't go into it, but when you see it, pay attention to it, because when you look at the idea that this was shot in 1958, and some of the techniques that Hitchcock are using are, I think, ahead of its time, and a lot of the times better than the visual techniques that are used today, which is saying a lot. Another example is the use of when Jimmy Stewart's character sees incredible heights and he experiences the vertigo, and the camera is able to give you that illusion that it is much higher up than it actually is. And it's really, it really puts you, the audience member, in that position of vertigo and acrophobia, and it just gives you a more exciting reaction to Jimmy Stewart's vertigo. To comment on how underrated the film was, when you look at Jimmy Stewart's performance, which in my opinion is one of his greatest performances ever, it's definitely one of his most passionate, I think. But unfortunately, the audiences looked at Jimmy Stewart, who was, I believe, 51 or 53 at the time, playing a romantic leading man. Many people looked at that as, well, he was too old to do it. I think you kind of have to overlook that fact and just appreciate the performance aspect of it, because it really is a great performance. Yet, no accolades, no award nominations or anything like that. When you look at some of his other previous performances, I think this one really stands out. The musical score of the movie is also very, very powerful and tells a definite story. It really complements the film very nicely. Again, the cinematography of it is just, I think, the greatest part of the movie. And when they show certain still shots of the Golden Gate Bridge, the rooftop sequence in the beginning of the movie, it's like, the way that I express it, it's like you're looking at a visual painting that's actually moving. Somehow, Hitchcock is able to give you that sort of feeling. And again, I think it attributes to that dreamlike quality, which helps to add to the macabre aspect of the movie. So let me know in the comments what you think of Vertigo. I said some pretty hefty things that could easily be argued, so let me know your opinions about Vertigo. Let me know your opinions about how it stands compared to other Hitchcock films. I said earlier that it's one of the greatest movies of all time. Could you at least see that, or do you even agree with me? Let me know what you think, and that's pretty much it.